So you finally decided to get off your butt and do this. Well, yeah. I've said a million times that I was going to go over footage and start to make my Japan videos, and I finally sort of just said, start doing it. Obviously enough, I have tons of footage, and I want to go over it and share it with you guys. Probably be a great way to get more people into the channel, and yeah, if you are already watching, then I'm sure you're eager to see some of this stuff. So here's the thing, a lot of the footage that I have was completely unplanned. It was just stuff that I was taking footage of as I was doing stuff. So there's gonna be a lot of splices back and forth to me talking here and then showing you Japan here.
Oh yeah, Mr. Crab.
So let's get into it. Things, of course, began with me getting on a plane and flying across the world to Japan. You see, living where I live in the United States means it was a 14-hour flight directly from where I live to Japan. This was a straight shot on a Japanese airline to Japan. That said, I don't regret taking Japan Airlines. It was certainly much better than taking a Chinese airline, China Eastern, the way that I did 2 years ago. So I got to the airport pretty early just because I wanted to be there well before my flight took off. We went through pre-boarding and then waited in the area where you're ready to get onto the plane. I don't know what it's called. So while I was there, I took some shots of the plane, which was a 777, I don't know, wide body Boeing or something like that. It's a pretty common plane and it was pretty average, I suppose. I don't like talking prices, but I will. I spent a mere $700 per round trip ticket to Japan through Japan Airlines. Now, if you've ever flown to Japan, you'll understand that that's a pretty cheap price. Typically, a flight from United States directly into Japan via JAL is about $1,000 or more a lot of times, depending on what time of the year you go. So I was pretty lucky to say the least. That being said, would I fly with JAL again? Only if the price was right, but I don't know if I'd ever do it again for $700. You see, I was incredibly excited to finally board the plane.
Oh yeah, Mr. Crab.
And when I finally did walk up that runway, it was all the more imminent that I was about to leave the United States. I was going to be in Japan in less than a day. So going up the ramp and getting onto the plane was a pretty exciting experience. Now, the plane was pretty packed. Once we got on, pretty much every seat was taken, which I guess for that price, why wouldn't it be? It's funny because they really sell the fact that they have more leg room, and I guess that makes sense for fat Americans that want to get on planes and be comfortable, but I don't know, it just didn't seem like it was that much bigger of a seat compared to others. I was certainly comfortable enough, but you're never going to be comfortable on a plane unless you take business class and get to lay down where you sit. Hilariously enough, I was looking at the in-flight entertainment, which everybody seems to complain about, but I was happy to see that they had Godzilla King of the Monsters, so that was funny. Now, in addition to Godzilla and Detective Pikachu, they also had a foreign movie called Daddy Longlegs. So that's pretty sick. Now, taking off in a plane is never very fun. It's pretty scary to say the least. The plane starts picking up incredible speed, and it goes down that runway incredibly fast. Once it finally does take off, you feel the wheels leave the runway and the plane finally get into the air, and it's pretty crazy. Then the plane does that thing where it dips sideways enough so that you can see the ground flat through the window, and oh my god, is that terrifying. I always want to jump out of my pants when that happens, but I don't because I know that that's not socially acceptable. Now, once on the plane, I was treated to a bit of refreshment with some rice crackers, which were delicious. And additionally, they served me plenty of Asahi beer, which is one of my favorites. So I'm happy to say that every time that cart came around, they were giving me another beer. I had quite a few. And the in-flight meal was perfectly fine. A lot of people make it a point to be like, oh, the in-flight meal was terrible. And it's like, dude, all this food is basically microwaved food. So what are you going to do? It was fair enough. It was some white rice with some beef and some sauce or whatever. And then some additional cute little trays of appetizers as well. They gave you some fruit. They even gave us ice cream and stuff. It was a fine meal. Plus, I had plenty of snacks that I got before, so I was excited to just be on the plane and being on my way to Japan. Because I was going to eat plenty of amazing food once I got there. Oh, and there was this guy next to me who was wearing these, like, teddy bear socks. I made sure to film that because I thought it was funny. Now, in-flight entertainment wasn't a problem for me because I watched all of Kimetsu no Yaiba from the time I got to the airport until the time I got to Japan, so I watched that whole show. But once I touched down, I didn't take much footage in the airport, but Narita's amazing. Their immigration, Everything is super fast. They get you in and out, and I haven't had a problem either time I've been to Japan. So kudos to Narita Airport. They're awesome. And within a 45-minute train ride, I was in Tokyo. And then yeah, once we got in, checked into our hotel in Asakusabashi. Now it's weird. I think people were calling it the Ichi, which would be one, but it was spelled Isi, I-C-I, the Isi Hotel in Asakusabashi, which was a pretty decent hotel for the cost. And yeah, it was clean and comfortable. And then I walked around in Asakusabashi and talked to myself for a while. All right, so day one, and just checked into my hotel. Well, not just, but we have only been here for a little while, so I just took some time to kind of relax and just take my pants off for a minute or two and hang out, just relax a little bit and get a little cooler because the trip over was a little warm. But currently just walking like the back streets because I'm not as familiar with this area. I stayed pretty close to here last time I was here, so I vaguely know where I'm going, but you know, it's always good to get a lay of the land, so just walking around the area. Day one's always kind of a bust because I got here and, you know, there's only so much you can try to do in your first night, especially with what time you get here. We got here at 4 o'clock, which meant taking the train to where we are now was a whole hour worth of time, so we spent a decent amount of time on the train. But here we are now, and that's pretty much it. So checking this place out, and I'll be back with whatever's interesting. So maybe we'll go to Don Quixote tonight and stock up on some stuff, so we shall see. Then from there, I went ahead and took a trip into Asakusa, which is one of my favorite places in Tokyo. So I had to go there and the first night get some okonomiyaki and some beer because this place that I went to was wonderful. Hey, listen up. I'm at a place called Tsukushi, and it's a pretty damn good place. Let me show you what I got on my plate here. This right here, this is my swag. That's an okonomiyaki, and your boy's got a nice cold beer. If you are in Asakusa, get yourself some Tsukushi okonomiyaki. It is delicious, delicious. And then you gotta go to Don Quixote. If you've never been to Don Quixote, it's like Japanese Walmart on crack. But of course, all I cared about was looking at the animals, such as these eels, which have actually been in this giant fish tank outside of Don Quixote both times I've come to Japan. So I was happy to visit 2 years later and see that these guys were still there. They have so much stuff there, and it's crazy because everything looks like it's handwritten. All their signage looks like they just made it in the store, which I really don't doubt. But it's huge, and these stores are all over Japan. They're wonderful stores, they're multi-level, they have everything you could think of, from cosmetics to alcohol to even like anime figures and stuff. They even have Gundam model kits, and the selection's pretty decent. I'm not saying it's like the best ever, but to be able to walk into a store and walk out with a master grade Gundam is pretty awesome. Now I could go over all the many things that make Don Quixote amazing, but it would take us all day because the stores are massive. So why don't we just move on to day 2 instead? Okay, so today's day 2, and last night was just kind of a bust. I came in and was really tired, decided to go get something to eat, something to drink, and finally laid down for bed. But now, just went to 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven here is the jam. Got some awesome breakfast foods, a bunch of junk, and some vitamin C drink, and we're gonna go to the Ghibli Museum today, so stay tuned for that. Can't take pictures there though, so whatever. Nani? Don't matter, that guy's looking at me. Let's go kiss him. So look, I have crappy lighting in here, whatever, but I'm just here to show you stuff I got at 7-Eleven. I got this stuff. It's called Okonomiyaki C Dorinku, and this is basically like a vitamin C shot. It's really good for you apparently, and they're really small, so you can put them back very easily, bottoms up. You wouldn't expect it to be so good because it's like a wonder drink and it's a lot of vitamins and everything, but this thing's really tasty. It's like kind of like an orange creamy sort of flavor, and yeah, it's really good. But that's besides the point. For breakfast today, start with a little croquette. Look at how beautiful that is. Nice little fried little, I think this one's like just potato, which is fine because, you know, I'm a potato guy. I love me some potatoes. Item number 2 on the docket is this squishy little ball. I go to 7-Eleven almost every day, multiple times, mainly because their ATMs I don't think have a very high surcharge, and it's the easiest way for me to get cash as well as get junk like this. You wouldn't expect it, but they have tons of good food, and a bunch of it's stuff that you can actually get them to heat up at the counter. They have like hot dogs in bags or soba sandwiches, and they'll just heat them right up for you. As you can see, it's just a steamed bun. These things aren't very special, but I can never find them back home, so. You can't see anything because of the crappy lighting, but this is a beef bun, and it's just so delicious. I gotta bite it again. How? Maybe take it out of the wrapper so it's not crinkling. You got a diaper on? And last but not least, breakfast today is gonna end with a delicious dorayaki. I love dorayaki. I can never get enough of these things, and these are another thing that's kind of hard to get at home. You can get them, but they just won't be very good. They'll be the packaged ones. And I know that this is packaged as well, sure, but this is like a more nicer and very much more clean one. As you can see here, it kind of looks like a squished McDonald's hamburger, but I assure you it is not that. If you look, you can see that there is a bunch of filling in there, and that is the delicious Azuki Unko sort of red bean paste, and this stuff is so good. Look at that, can you see? There's like beans and stuff in there. This lighting is so bad, I'm sorry. That's breakfast. I'm not gonna sit here and eat a million other things. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing. Which rice ball do you want? Look at this fat American goes to Japan and gets a million things from 7-Eleven and wonders why he's fat. First off, I'm not fat anymore, so I don't wanna hear that. Whatever. The last thing is just a rice ball, and it's a spicy cod roe. So, like they say in America, let's eat this rice ball. Oh. You see, this was like the main course because this is like actual food. This is so good though. It's just spicy cod roe inside of a rice ball. And yeah, there's seaweed on it. It's delicious. If you don't like it, I don't care. Get off my channel. This is a real treat right here, actually. It's so amazing how good a rice ball can be. And honestly, everything that I just bought here, each thing was like 100 yen a piece or like 150 yen. So honestly, you don't spend anything when you go and buy snacks over at the 7-Eleven. And you can get a decent meal, obviously. What? And you know what? Since I already ate my dorayaki early, and now that I have my rice ball, I'm gonna finish with this little treat. If the lighting was better, you would see it says fuairu. Furedo? Fureko? Oh, furekoro. I don't know what that means, whatever. Don't matter. Oh, look at that. It's in a little tray. This is a cute little, it's so soft and spongy. It's like a nice woman. Wow. Oh, that's fresh. You probably can't see it because of the terrible lighting, but there's actually custard in here. It's a delicious little custard bun. This is the best part because it's just this really soft cake. If you've ever had like a roll cake, it's that kind of softness. Very, very soft, light, aerated cake with a little bit of creamy custard inside. Very tasty, but yeah. So that is gonna do it for video number 1. Yes, I know it's a bit anticlimactic and the video was kind of boring, but that's just the first few days. When you first touch down, there's really not much you can do, and I don't want to load this video up too much. So now that we've laid the groundwork, the next video will certainly be more interesting because in that one, I'm going to the Ghibli Museum, so get ready for that. But if you like this video, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment, and what do you think of my trip so far? I can't wait to share the rest of it with you guys, so make sure you stay tuned because the next video will be coming up soon. I'm going to start working on these weekly, and hopefully I can get them week after week to come out. So please bear with me even if I don't, because this isn't always the easiest. But hey, I'm going to link something right here, and even if you have seen it, make sure to click it because it does help the channel. In addition to my Japan trip, I think it's finally time to start talking about my Daruma story, so stay tuned for that too. Thanks a million times. I cannot wait to show you the rest of this journey, so make sure to stay tuned because it's coming very soon.